All right, guys, what's up? So in today's video, we're going to make this simple dictionary app in Flutter. And it's going to be so easy because we're just using a text field, an icon button, and words down here and the container. So the major part of this is us just fetching data from this API endpoint. And the data that we're fetching is the phonetic, the part of speech right here, in the meaning. So this is the meaning that we're getting here. So, and let's demonstrate this. So if I search for another word, I might say meaning. So it brings us the phonetic, the part of speech, and the meaning of what we have searched for. So we're going to use this. We're going to make this by using this API, the free dictionary API. So this is where we're going to be sending our requests to. And we're going to use this package. This is going to help us make requests and perform the request operations. And so I'm going to make this as easy as possible for you guys to follow. And with that being said, I think let's get started. So to get started, what we have is in the main.dot is the home screen. So we're returning the home screen, and this home screen is inside this folder I made called screens. And this home screen is just returning a blank scaffold right now. As you can see, the screen is just blank. So the first thing we're going to do is make the variables. So we're going to make a text editing controller. And we're just going to call it controller. Then we're going to have the definition string. Then the next thing we're going to have is the phonetic. Then we're going to have the part of speech. Then next we're going to have a feature function, which is going to be a void. Then we're going to name it fetch definition. Then inside here we're going to have a string, and let's just call it word. Then this is going to be an async function. Okay. Then inside here, we're going to have a try and catch. Then in here, we're going to have a variable called response. And we're going to await. So this is where this variable is going to contain the value that will be returned from the request that the GET request that we're going to send to this API endpoint. Okay. So then, but before we go there, let's install this package, because we won't be able to make the request to this API if we don't install this package. So we're just going to copy this command. Then, okay, let's wait for this to open. Okay. Then we just press enter. Okay, so that is installed. So let's just import this package. So we say import. Then we're going to say package http/h then we get it as HTTP. That's all. So we're actually going to, don't mind this, we're actually going to use this right here. We say HTTP, then we send the GET request. This is going to help us make the do the GET operations on this endpoint to get the response from this API endpoint. So in here, we're going to have the URI. Then we're going to parse. In here, this is where we're going to have the URL. Okay. So to do that, we can just simply come here. Okay, we just copy this. Then we go back. Then we just paste it here. Then we're going to use this word inside this. So we're just going to put a $sign. Then we just say a word inside there. Then put a semicolon at the end. Then, so the next thing we're going to do is, I think, oh, okay, this was giving an error. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have an if statement that's going to check the status code of this response that we're getting from here. So we'll just simply say if response dot status, if it's equals to 200. Okay, so we're going to have a variable called data. Then we're just going to decode the response that we're getting from here and assign that decoded data to the data variable. So let's do that. So we just simply say JSON decode. Then we're going to say response. We will have the body of the response. Then we just import this. Okay. Then inside here, we're going to have another if statement that's going to check if the data that we're from getting is empty. If data dot is not empty, then we're going to have a set state. Okay, we're going to have a set state, and okay, so we say set state. Then inside this set state, this is where we're going to set our variables in. So we just simply say definition, then we can say data. Then we're simply just going to follow this approach. So let me just print it. So the first thing we're getting is the meaning. Then inside the meaning, we have the definition, of which is free transfer. And I know that doesn't sound normal, but that's what we're getting, right? And we're also going to get the part of speech, then the phonetic here as well. So let's go back. So we have meanings. Then definitions. Let me double check that. So we have definitions, then definition. So we have another 0. Then, yeah, with that one, we're done. Then next, we're going to go on the phonetic, and we'll probably repeat this, almost the same process. So let me show you can do that. So come here and say phonetic. Then you say data. 0, then we just simply say phonetic. So simply say phonetic. So you have to double check the spellings from here. So here it's just saying phonetic. Okay, this is what we're getting. Then the next thing we're going to get is the part of speech. So we have to follow the same naming conventions. Okay. So, but before we go there, if the phonetic is not available, we can just say okay. Now let's go to the part of speech. Data, then we just simply go in 0. Then the part of speech is inside the meanings, as we can see here. So part of speech, its meanings, then part of speech. Then we just follow the naming convention. It's a part of speech. Then here, if the part of speech is also not available, we can just simply say NA. Let's not waste much time. So then we just say else. Then we just put it, we set state again. If the above our condition is not met, we just go in here and say definition. And we can just simply say definition not found. Then we can just get the phonetic. And just set it as an empty string. Then the part of speech as well. So, okay, so with this we're done. Then I think from now we're going to put the catch here as well. We're going to display the errors. So in the catch, we're also going to have a set state. And we're just simply going to assign the definition. And we can just simply say error. Then we give it the error message. Say E. Then that's all. Then we just set these to empty strings as well, just like we did here. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is create the user interface. So we're going to have an up bar. Then inside this up bar, we're going to have a title. Then we just remove this. This will clear out that error. Then we have text saying, what was that text saying? Okay, you can just simply give it that. Then we just center this. Okay, center. Then we just change the style. Then we give it a color white. Then let's see what we have. Okay, so we can't see it right now because the text is white and the background color is white. So we can just simply give it a background color of black. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Then next, we're going to have a body. Then inside this body, we are going to have a column. Then we just give it children. Let me just start ignoring these, the blue squiggles. Okay. Okay, so the first child we're going to have is a container of which is going to have a height. But before we do this, I think it's a good practice for us to have media queries because this application is going to run and look differently on different screens. So on other screens, the widgets might be overflowing, and that might cause bad user experiences. So with that being said, let's make media queries before we go any further. So first, we're going to have the screen height, and next we're going to have the width. So we're actually going to use these in most of the places in this app for the text size and everything. So give this a height. So the height, we're going to say screen height. And then we just give it 0.2, which is 20% of the screen. Then we can give it a decoration. And give it a black color. Then we're going to give it a border radius. And this is going to be border radius. Sorry about that. Then we just simply say that only. So we're going to give it the border radius just at the bottom left and the bottom right. So make it circular and give it the radius of 26. Then we go on the bottom right. And I think we can just simply copy this. Okay, let's see what we have. Okay, so far so good. This is what we have. Now we're going to put a text field and an icon button there. So the text field, we're going to access the text we'll be getting from the text field using this the controller that we created on top there. So let's go back down. And inside this container, we're going to say child. Then this child is going to have a row. Yeah, it's simply just going to be a row. And it's going to have children. So the child that's going to be in here is going to have the controller, this controller that we made on top there. And I didn't want this video to be long, so I just did this, paused the video and did this. So the hint text is going to be the word search word. So let's see what we have. Okay, so you see we have an error. So to do this, we're going to simply just wrap this inside an expanded widget. So we're going to say wrap widget, then expanded. Okay. So let's try to refresh this. Okay, so see, this is what we currently have. So I think we can change this to black so that we can see it better. Okay, then I think we can increase the size as well, the font size. Then we can give it screen width. Let's give it 0.1. I'm sure this is going to be so big. Okay. Yeah, that's so big. So let's try 0.01. Okay, that's too small again. Okay, let's try this. Okay. Okay, let's give it 5. So you can adjust these to what's going to actually satisfy you. Then the next thing, we're going to have these in a row. So the next thing we're going to have is an icon button. So this icon button is going to inside the onPressed. Okay, we're going to simply call the fetch definition. Then inside the word, we're going to have the words that the user is putting in. So it's simply the user input. So say text. Then down here, we can just add an icon. Okay, before we do that, let's add the same icon down here. Then here we can have an icon. Then in here we can say icons.search. Okay, so we're going to use the search icon. Then we're actually going to give it a size as well. Okay, 40. Then a color. Then I'm going to give it a white color. Okay, so this is what we have so far. And I think let's try to wrap this inside, give it some padding on the edges. So we can just simply wrap it with the padding and say only left and right. Give it 8. Let's give it 5. And let's see what we have. Okay, so far so good. Then the next thing we're going to have is we're going to display the data down here. So we're going outside this container. Then outside this container, then outside but inside the column. So we'll do this. So the first thing we're going to have is the text that the user is just from entering. So we can say controller. So this is the text we're getting from the text field, the text. Okay, so let's see what we have. So currently, okay, that is loaded. So let's try to put any word. You can just say word. Then yeah, it's displayed down there. So we don't want this to be down here exactly. So we'll go outside is in this column. So we're going to put everything to have a cross-axis alignment of start. So I've put this on the cross-axis alignment. I've set it to start. So the word that we have entered is down here. So if you say, you can say check, then that check will appear down here. Okay, so we're just simply fetching the data, the user input, and just displaying it under there. So next, we're going to give it some style. Okay. And it's actually going to look bigger. Okay, so but before we do that, as we have done that, let's have a sized box up here. Then we're going to give it a height of 10 so that we get to have more space up here. So we do this. Okay, we have an error. Okay, there was no error. Okay, there goes the height. Then the next thing we're going to have is, I think we can just wrap this inside a padding. Then we can say only, like we did with the other one. So only, then we give it to the left. Then we can give it of 18. Let's just give it 18. Okay, so it's moved to the right a bit. So we're just going to duplicate this and use it for the phonetic and the part of speech and the definition as well down here. So the next thing we're going to do is the definition. No, the next thing we're going to do is the phonetic. So let me just copy this. I'm going to copy and I think let's just duplicate this twice and just change the styles. We're going to duplicate this and okay. So part of speech, then let's just load this. And I think we should change some of the dimensions down here. So you see, this one is way bigger as well. So we have the phonetic. So the phonetic, we're going to make it 0.01. This, okay, that's too small. Okay, wait, we'll just give it 19 just to make things easy. Then this one, we can give it 18. Okay. Then we can just have spacings between these. So give it here and here. So let's see what we have. Okay, so far so good. Now, the next thing we're going to have is the definition, the meaning that should be displayed under here. Okay, so let's get to that. So, okay, so just simply say text, then definition. Okay, so what we're going to have down here is the definition that's loading. I don't know where this is coming from. Okay, it disappeared. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, so far this is what we have. So let's give it some padding. Let's wrap it inside the padding. Padding, so we say only. Only, so we give it left, we give it, say, 18. Then top, let's give it a top as well. We give it 10. Now let's see what we have. Okay, so this is what we have, and I don't know, I hope I made this easy for you guys. And this is what we can do. So let's just try to search for another word. Okay, say a word. Okay, so you see, it's fetching and it's displaying the word. Okay, yeah, this we're not fetching, we're just getting it from the user input, but we're fetching the phonetic, the part of speech, and the definition. So yeah, you can just use this to learn how to make the operations of fetching data. Okay, now this is not funny. This is not funny. Okay, so this is how easy you can do this, guys. This is how easy you can make this application, this dictionary app. So let's go through this. We use this API, the free dictionary API, to get the data. And we use the HTTP package to make requests to this dictionary API. And yeah, here we have it. And this is a very simple app. We just have an app bar and a container with the same color as the app bar, then a text field and an icon button, then just a bunch of texts down here. Let me remove this. Yes, so yeah, so with that being said, guys, I think I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.